My sermon text is taken from the book of Genesis, the 22nd chapter, the first 14 verses. And may we pray. Lord, be gracious unto us, and bless your word among us. Amen. My dear friends in Christ, as I mentioned earlier, I wish to begin a sermon series entitled Character Studies of the Old Testament. You see, the Bible, and especially the Old Testament historical books, are really accounts or stories of people. People just like you and me. And we can discover a lot about God, who He is, what He's like, how He deals with us, by seeing how He dealt with these Old Testament character studies. Now, this is a literary method that is found throughout the Scriptures, Old Testament and New, and I might say it's a very effective method as well. Because it really is setting forth the relationship that God had with these people in the Old Testament, and then we can discover how He deals with us then as well. Now, the most logical place to start a study of character of the Old Testament is with Abraham. You probably have heard the expression that Abraham is the father of all believers, and it's true. And so Abraham is your and my spiritual father. And after our study this morning, I hope you will better understand why that is the case. So, we continue. We know that God called Abraham out of the land of the Ur of the Chaldeans. Now that's modern-day Iraq. And He called them to a land that He would show him. So, Abraham did not know where he was going. He did not know what he would find once he got there. But he obeyed. He obeyed the Lord and went. Then, we see that he entered them. God showed him the land of Canaan. And when he arrived, Abraham traveled the length and breadth of that land. And he stopped then at Shechem, that's sort of right in the middle there, and then also at Bethel. And there the Lord appeared to him in both places. And He told Abraham that he and his offspring would become a great nation. And Abraham believed, even though he and his wife Sarah had no children at the time. And so Abraham built an altar in both of those places and worshiped the Lord there. Then we know that sometime later in Abraham's life, the Lord appeared to him again. And He told Abraham that not only would he become a great nation, but his nation, this nation that would be his offspring, his children, they would occupy that entire land, and they would become so great that they would be like the stars in the sky and the dust of the ground. And that from Abraham's seed, from his offspring, from his children, would come the Messiah, would come the Christ, would come the Savior of the world. And Abraham believed. Even though he and his wife Sarah now were well past the age of bearing children. And we know that God kept His promise, and Isaac was born. So the life of Abraham was a life of tremendous faith on his part. And if Abraham's life would have ended, or his story would have ended at this point in time, we would still be calling him this morning the father of all believers. But the climax of Abraham's life, indeed the greatest challenge to his faith, but we might also add the greatest victory of his faith, was yet to come. Because when Abraham in his old age felt that, or thought that all the storms of life had blown over, all the trials in life had been met, now came the greatest challenge to his faith life of all. You know that the Lord appeared to Abraham again. And He called out, Abraham! And Abraham replied joyfully, "Here I am, Lord." Abraham probably expected that this renewal of the promise of the Messiah would be explained again to him, and how he would become a great nation, and his son, his offspring would become the progenitor of the Christ. But this time, the message is very different. Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about. Oh my. Now this is Isaac we're talking about here. This is the son that was born miraculously to Abraham and Sarah in their old age. This is the son of promise from whom would come the Christ, and now he was to be sacrificed. What a strange and mysterious contradiction this is. Now, Isaac at this point in time was probably a young man, maybe in his early 20s or so, and a man that was just entering the prime of his life. He was vibrant, he was strong. And Abraham must have said, "Lord, I love Abraham. I love Isaac. He's the one that was born to me in my old age, miraculously. He is the one that I love and I care for, and how can I ever live without him?" That was what Abraham must have thought. And he thought, to lose Isaac is bad enough, but to lose him not by sickness, not by disease, not by an accident, but by my own hand? Must the father of all believers become the monster of all fathers? And what about Sarah? Oh, I almost forgot about Sarah. How can she survive without her precious son, the apple of her eye? And how can I ever look at her in her eyes again? How can she ever hold my hands again, knowing that they are stained with the blood of her own son? Oh, at all costs, Sarah must not be told until it's all over. These are the thoughts that no doubt went through Abraham's mind as he contemplated God's astounding command. But at times like this, we don't let our thoughts and our questions take over. Rather, we do what Abraham did, and we simply receive the message and follow it. A faith like Abraham's does not let reason nullify God's command. Abraham didn't know the reason for this strange request, but he knew God had one. And so we read in Hebrews 11, by faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. God said it, and I will do it. In Abraham's mind, it was already done. Isaac was already sacrificed. And we know also from the faith of Abraham, next please, that Abraham does not wait for the command to be repeated or confirmed. We know that the very next day, early in the morning, Abraham got up, he saddled his donkey, he got Isaac and 2 servants, and they headed off for a little while. No hesitation. No repeating or confirming the command. Sometimes I think that we wait for some kind of confirmation to God's word. For example, some might say, well, in the book of Genesis, Lord, you say that the earth was formed, the universe was formed at your command in 6 days. But I have this professor at college that tells me that this universe came into being all by itself, and that it took millions and millions of years. So I'll just wait until I hear proof one way or the other in that regard. Or somebody say, Lord, you promised to provide for all I need throughout my life, and that I should be generous with what I have and you have given me. But I'm not so sure about that. I need to save up my money and keep my money and make sure I have enough money for the rest of my life. And then maybe I'll be generous with what you have given me. Or somebody say, Lord, you're saying the word to wait for marriage to have sexual relationships, but other people aren't waiting and they don't seem to be experiencing any ill effects. So I'll just go ahead, I'll live with someone, I'll have sexual relationships before marriage, and unless I hear from you otherwise. Faith like Abraham's does not wait for confirmation. Does not wait for the command to be repeated. It sees the command and does it. Next, Abraham, like faith, does not look for excuses. We are told that even before Abraham left his home, he gathered wood and put it on a donkey to be carried all the way to Mount Moriah. Now we say to ourselves, so why carry that wood all that way? Why not just wait till you get to Moriah and use the wood there? But what if that wood would have been wet? What if it would not be burned? Abraham did not want the excuse to say, Lord, I wanted to sacrifice my son Isaac, but the wood wouldn't burn and I couldn't. And then when they got to Moriah, he said to the two servants, now you wait here. He put the wood on his son Isaac to be carried out to Moriah. Said to the two servants, you wait here, and we're going to go out to worship, and then we'll come back. In other words, he didn't want those servants going up with him. He didn't want to have the excuse to say, Lord, I tried to sacrifice my son Isaac, but my two servants prevented me from doing so, which they probably would have done. No, he didn't look for excuses. He saw a command and followed it. Sometimes I think we look for excuses to carrying out the Lord's will in our lives and to following His word. I think pastors hear more excuses than any other profession, except maybe traffic cops. Members oftentimes have this minor obstruction. They explode it 1,000 times. They view it as an insurmountable barrier, and they blame God for the intrusion. Many will say, Lord, I wanted to worship. Lord, I wanted to serve. I wanted to study the Bible. I wanted to change my life and be a different husband, a different wife. But Lord, it was the weather, it was the time, it was the people around me, it was that woman that you gave me, it was society in general, it was all the pressure I'm under. Lord, it's just the way I am. My friends, our Lord doesn't want to hear your excuses. But a faith like Abraham sees the command, sees the word, and follows it. Well, let's go on. What about Isaac's faith? Now we talk about Abraham's faith. What about Isaac? A faith like Isaac's is sometimes passive and needs to wait and let the Lord's will run its course. Can you imagine this 100-plus-year-old Abraham tying the hands of his son Isaac and placing him on this altar? Isaac having started his manhood, his muscles fully developed, why one little act of resistance, one blow from his forearm would have sent Abraham tumbling down Mount Moriah. But we don't read of any such resistance. Why not? Because there wasn't any. Isaac had a faith that was passive. It said, thy will be done. Same like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Lord, if this is your will, then let your will be done. He learned to obey his father Abraham no matter what. It was a passive. Let the Lord's will be done. And that's the faith of the Isaac as well that can be followed. Lord, sometimes we just have to sit back and let you be God. Let God be God. Lord, we're just going to be still and let you be God. That was the faith of Isaac. Now, the time had come. So the wood was placed on the shoulders of Isaac. We can imagine how each successive step of Mount Moriah was more and more difficult for Abraham. He finally reached the top, and they built an altar, and Isaac's hands were tied, and he was placed on the altar. And Abraham, no doubt, leaned over to kiss his son a farewell kiss. And then probably he kissed him again for Sarah. And then he put out of mind his role as father, and he embarked upon the terrible role as executioner. And he looked up to heaven. Then he took the knife and he raised it for one swift, clean, fatal cut to the throat. Now picture this. Next, picture this. You angels in heaven, look at this. Next, back to the other one. You angels in heaven. One more. Back up. No, we're going to do that next one. Look at this, you angels in heaven. Look at this, you people of God. And learn. This is extreme faith. This is faith that is put to the supreme test, and yet still obeying, still believing, still trusting, still enduring, still following. Think of this in all the trials in your life, those that have taken place and those that will take place in the future. This is how far faith can go. This is, as Paul would say, faith that conquers all. And just know that trials will come into your life. Not to make your life miserable, not to make you feel sad or sorry in your life or discouraged or depressed, but that your faith might be strengthened and that you might grow in your knowledge and love and fear of God. Why did God put Abraham through such an ordeal? It wasn't certainly that he wanted Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac. No. It wasn't that God wanted Abraham to love his son Isaac any less. No. Rather, he wanted Abraham's complete, absolute trust and faith and obedience and hope. And he wants nothing less from you and me. Luther's explanation of the first commandment says we should fear, love, and trust in God above all things. Our love and trust in anyone or anything else is secondary compared to our love and trust for Him. And when that is the result, that growing, that strengthening, then all trials become a blessing. And for Abraham, it was a double blessing. You see, God knew what Abraham was going to do. God could look into Abraham's heart and he could see faith. He knew how far Abraham would go, that he would sacrifice his own son. God already knew that. But now Abraham knew it. And that's the greatest blessing that Abraham received. He knew from that point on, for the rest of his life, from that point on, he knew that he could endure anything with the Lord's help. And what courage, what strength, what faith, what peace he must have felt from that point on to the rest of his life because of that trial. But Abraham, of course, was doubly blessed in that his son Isaac was spared. Next one, please. I'll just read it. In verse 11, but the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Do not lay a hand on the boy, he said. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withdrawn from me your son, your only son. Abraham looked up, and there in the thicket was a ram caught by the horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. Sometimes the test is removed and life goes back to normal. Sometimes the danger passes and everyone is safe. Sometimes the trouble is experienced and everything turns out just fine. That's what happened to Abraham. And God had to be thanked. And so there just happened to be a ram that's horns are stuck in some bushes. And he took the ram and sacrificed the ram. And Isaac and Abraham walked down Mount Moriah together. Oh, what a happy, happy ending. Maybe your ending is not so happy. Maybe your trial is ongoing and there's no end in sight. Maybe the danger is not past and you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the trouble is still present and is causing much pain and suffering. Does this account of Abraham say anything to you when it comes to your comfort and hope and peace? Well, let me say this. Abraham loved his son, Isaac. God the Father loved his son, Christ Jesus. Isaac was the only son of Abraham and Sarah. Christ Jesus is the only begotten Son of God the Father. Isaac was the son of promise. Jesus was the fulfillment of that promise. Isaac's hands were tied. Jesus' hands were tied before Pilate. Isaac carried his wood up to his sacrifice. Jesus carried the cross to his sacrifice on Calvary. Isaac was a willing participant. Jesus was a willing participant. But that's where the comparison ends. Because Isaac was spared, and a ram was sacrificed in his place. Jesus was not spared. Jesus turned his back on his own son, and he became the ram, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sin of the world. We talk a lot about the Father's or the Son's suffering and sacrifice. What about God the Father's sacrifice? God the Father loved his Son, but he loved you first. This is God's amazing grace, his amazing love, that he spared not his own Son, but gave him up for us all. Look at this, you angels in heaven, and be amazed. Look at this, you people of God, and learn. This is where your peace, this is where your hope, this is where your comfort lies. No matter what the outcome of your trial. May we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of faith. We cannot see our faith, we cannot feel our faith, but we do see its results every day. Today you have taught us how far faith can go. It has no limits when it comes to trusting your promises. It has no bounds when it comes to avoiding sin or enduring persecution. Oh Lord, do not let our thoughts and reason make us question your command by requiring confirmation. When our own excuses want to deny or delay our faith to act, overcome them with a firm conviction of your word. And when our faith needs to wait for your will to be done, give us the patience to be still and know that you are God. knowing how much you love us, that you spared not your own Son, but gave him up for us all. Give us a peace, and yes, a joy in our testing and trials. Give us the faith of Abraham, who loved you above all things. In Jesus' name we pray.